up, everybody? Welcome back to another SmackDown review. I am your host, Alex, your self-proclaimed Queen of the Ring, and wow, we had such an amazing SmackDown. I was there live, so excuse my voice if I just sound hoarse, but I was yelling, I was sitting second row, hard cam side. I never sit there, so I was just really taking it all in. I first want to say thank you so much for everyone who liked my Halloween costume. This was me. I was Bloody Becky Lynch. I had to represent for the Blue brand. I had to be somebody from SmackDown, right? As your SmackDown reviewer, I have to represent. So I went with Bloody Becky. So that was fun. And she also liked the picture. Happy Halloween. I'm glad everyone had a good Halloween. Yes, I did, for sure. Let's get into this SmackDown review because wow, it is so much to unpack. A full NXT invasion. It was such a good show. Such a good show. So a lot of the superstars who performed in Crown Jewel had some travel issues. So everyone that was left over still in the States had to come in for NXT, and it was a very interesting show, the way that they played it out. They played it out so well. We opened up the show with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out, and they just went through Crown Jewel. They showed the whole match pretty much, so it was a good thing that I didn't have to tune in for that pay-per-view. They showed the whole match. They cut a little promo.
Hey everybody, Brian Zane here. I'm just going to briefly insert myself into this review real quick. I have the editorial power. I mean, I'm literally editing it right now. But anyway, one thing Alex forgot to mention in the Brock Lesnar promo was they announced that Brock Lesnar is quitting SmackDown and going to Raw. Oh, how could he get away with that? I mean, oh, he's just taking it. He's the champion. He's doing whatever he wants. Well, it's certainly convenient that he happens to be quitting SmackDown and going to Raw to hunt down Rey Mysterio. At the same time, the Fiend Bray Wyatt won the Universal Championship, and he's already a SmackDown guy. So instead of having two top champions on SmackDown, Brock Lesnar very conveniently moves over to Raw. That's kind of a smart way of doing it. I guess, you know, it plays into the whole character of Lesnar doing what he wants. He can quit the company, he can quit the show while he's champion. It does, again, kind of fly in the face the whole thing we had with the draft a few weeks ago, but I guess you could call Crown Jewel the last pay-per-view before, you know, the draft officially really congeals and sets into place with these hopefully permanent for a while until after WrestleMania roster moves. Lesnar back on Raw. As the Raw reviewer of this channel, I'm not a fan. I'm not entirely thrilled to see Lesnar back on Raw. It's interesting that the Universal Championship, which has the Raw color scheme of being red, is going to be on the blue show. Are they going to change the strap to blue? But despite my feelings of Brock Lesnar as champion, I still think this is probably the best course of action, best thing they could do to get the championship picture nice and settled out after what happened at Crown Jewel. Bray Wyatt winning the Universal title, I mean, like, I'm glad he did it. Seems like kind of a make good for Hell in a Cell. Would have been more impactful if he won a Hell in a Cell. Or, you know, I know there's people saying he shouldn't have been in that title picture at all so soon. But, you know, at least he had him win this time. So, yeah to that. Back to you, Alex.
And in the backstage segment, we see Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar walking away, and then we see Triple H coming around the corner with Shawn Michaels. As a Shawn Michaels fan, I flipped out because I've never seen him live. I was for sure gonna think that maybe he was gonna make some grand appearance, maybe on Miz TV. We'll get to that in a second, but he didn't. But it was so interesting the way that they just played it out. So the first match of the night, we got Nikki Cross versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title, and Sasha came out with Bayley, and Sasha Banks interfered with the match, and it was a really good match. Bayley won in the end, and then the most amazing thing happened. Shayna Baszler comes out and she attacks Bayley. I'm pretty sure if you find some clips online from that SmackDown, you see me jumping up and down, just going ballistic. That was such a good way to introduce Shayna, to introduce this whole NXT invasion, and just the way that they planted it in the beginning, especially with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and then Shayna Baszler comes out, and it was just, this was such a good episode of SmackDown. I can't emphasize that enough. And Shayna coming out was just, amazing. Next, we have a backstage segment with Sami Zayn, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee, and it was really, really funny just the way that Sami shined with his comedic side. I feel like we barely see that. We do, but he's always playing this like hyped up kind of like character, and it's fun, it's great, but I really loved his comedy in this segment, and just he was walking away at first from Matt Riddle and Keith Lee because he knew they were going to attack him, and he ran out, he ran to the ramp, and he ran to the ring, and they did what they did. They attacked him. They did such a good job highlighting Matt Riddle and Keith Lee and really all of the NXT stars throughout this whole episode, and it was just night and day compared to the NXT roster coming in for SmackDown and then the SmackDown roster just doing what they usually do on Friday nights. It was such a refreshing episode of SmackDown. Next, we have the Miz TV segment, and I just loved this segment so much. I have nothing bad to say about this episode. The Miz TV segment was good. I was happy to see Miz come out, and to see him come out in ring gear, it was good because I feel like I haven't seen him wrestle in a while. So he came out and he was talking about NXT and all these NXT people coming out. And then Tommaso Ciampa came out. I did not expect him to come out. I expected Johnny Gargano, maybe even Velveteen Dream. That would have been exciting. But Tommaso Ciampa coming out, just to see him in the ring with The Miz, it just was a dream match I didn't think I needed until now. And then we got it. And that match was great. And Tommaso Ciampa won, and it was fantastic. It was weird to see him wrestle in those camo pants. It seems like maybe he wasn't ready to wrestle that night, and they were like, hey, just get in the ring just how you are, because that's not his usual ring gear, right? So that was a little weird, but it was a good match. I have nothing bad to say about it. Next, we have a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. And I cannot express to you how much I freaked out during this segment because I really, really thought we were gonna get Daniel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels. The way that Shawn Michaels was slowly taking off his jacket and took it off and then played it off and said that he was cold, I can't express to you the anxiety that I experienced within that time. And I really wish it was true, but that's okay because we got Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan, and that is the main event for SmackDown, and I'll get to that in 1 second. Next, we have a match with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville versus Carmella and Dana Brooke, but Dana Brooke and Carmella got attacked backstage by Bianca Belair. So, who were Mandy Rose and Sonya going to face? It was Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox, and that match was short, it was good. Obviously, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville were not winning, and Rhea Ripley she's a beast. She's an absolute beast. If you can't tell from this review, I love NXT so much, and the fact that they got to highlight every single wrestler, not every single wrestler that's in NXT, but just every single superstar in NXT that's really shining right now, especially since NXT is on the USA Network. The fact that they had to give them this light because they had to scramble for this show, like for a last minute show, this was so good. This was one of the best episodes of SmackDown I have reviewed so far. Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox, they got the win. They deserved it. Good job, ladies. Next, we got an appearance by Triple H and Shawn Michaels. And for a little bit amount of time, they played Shawn Michaels' theme song. And it was just the best moment of my life. Shawn Michaels is my favorite wrestler. So just to see him live and just to hear the song live is great. That is a super pro for me from this show. I loved every second of it. But to the main event, Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole. A dream match I really did not expect myself to see live or even on TV. It was a good match. That German off the top rope looked just as bad in person as it did on TV. I'm pretty sure Adam Cole fell on his head, but still a really great match. Adam Cole, Bay won, and this match was for the NXT title. So the whole time, just to say like, oh, it'd be so cool if Daniel Bryan won the NXT title. It'd be so cool to see how they would play that out. In the end, Adam Cole won. He retained the NXT title. Roderick Strong came out to celebrate with Adam Cole. All the NXT superstars came out to celebrate, and they announced officially for Survivor Series, it is going to be SmackDown versus Raw versus NXT. Very, very cool. I am so excited to see how that plays out until Survivor Series, and especially with War Games right before it. This is going to be the best Survivor Series we've seen in a very, very long time. This was the best episode of SmackDown we got in a very long time, so I am so excited to watch next week's SmackDown, to watch Raw, to even watch next week's NXT. Overall, this was an amazing episode of SmackDown. I really would love to know what you guys think, because I thought that this was the best SmackDown in a while, and I am not just saying that because I was there live. Even if I watched it on TV, I would still say it. And maybe I am a little bit biased because I got to see Shawn Michaels live, but it was a great episode. I'd love to know what you guys think. Overall, if I gave this episode a grade, this would get an A, a perfect A. It really would. There was little mentions of Crown Jewel, and throughout these past weeks, you guys know how I feel about Crown Jewel. I'm not a big fan of it, but it was a flawless show, I thought, in my opinion. It was just so good. Pros, the whole show. Pros was the NXT invasion. Con, Brock Lesnar in the end, maybe, if I had to give it a con. The Crown Jewel mentions, the Crown Jewel playbacks of playing the whole match from the pay-per-view. I mean, I guess that might be my con, but I just really loved this episode of SmackDown. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel because I did vlog during this episode of SmackDown, so that video will be up very, very soon. But to be notified, make sure to hit the bell notifications on my channel, or follow me on Instagram @_Queen of the Ring, or follow me on Twitter @AQueenofTheRing. My name is Alex, your self-proclaimed Queen of the Ring. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week for another SmackDown review. Bye guys!